So let me now change to another level that I do. One that I have a lot more experience with. And one of my favorite levels. A01. I used to hate this level, but now I love it. That's mostly just because I would die very frequently on this one. And during my full line A run, which is these 8 levels, A01 to A08. So for this level, it's again, like the last one, I held the world record at 1 minute, 1 second, and 133 milliseconds, which is, second place is only 1 minute, 1 second, 250 milliseconds. And my previous personal best was like 1 minute, 1 second, 300 milliseconds. So very, very close here. This level requires a decent bit of explanation that I cannot do in real time because most of the level takes place on rails. Rails that you grind on. So first thing is you would select the weapon, and then these are dualies. Dualies have a very special property. When you use them, you can press the jump button to do a dodge, like this. So what you would do is you'd equip your weapon, and then dodge roll forward. And that saves a few milliseconds here and there. Probably around, I'd say up to a second or two. Next thing, you don't shoot that, but you dodge roll, ink, and then jump. And then you do some jumps here and there. Oops. Oh well. You're supposed to try to dodge roll onto that next one, that next rail. Presumably something like that. Or no, excuse me, it was this rail that I faltered on. Like that. So what you do is you would actually jump onto that crate and then jump. And that little curve back there, you can just straight up jump and skip that large curve there. Sorry if this footage doesn't look the best. It's very fast paced, and my capture card is not, and my PC are both very much so not that great. So you'll notice that I'm doing a lot of dodge rolling on the rails, and the reason for that is it actually moves you across them, especially on corners of them, very quickly. So what you saw there is I hit that little speed ramp shot up here. What you do is when you reach the apex of when you get sent up, you would dodge roll down and then dodge roll forward onto this one. Sometimes it doesn't work if you're a little bit weird, if you're a little bit too early or late with your timing. You won't go far enough and you'll actually hit about there on that block and just die. Because I've spent probably around 7 or 8 hours grinding for my world record on this level. Which I don't mind. It's helpful because this is actually one of the levels you play in the any percent run. But yeah, you would dodge roll down, then once you hear dodge roll into that. Well, you're supposed to shoot that balloon. I obviously missed it. And I forgot to shoot the balloon there. There we go. Dodge it. Dodge roll there. Hey, there you can see what happens when you screw the jump up. Or the timing, I mean. Then you dodge roll here, dodge there, throw the bomb at the level marker, which I think is supposed to be a pen, now that I really think about it. It kind of looks like a ballpoint pen. But yeah, you throw a bomb at it, and then level's over. I will not get a new personal best on this. That one, I guarantee you, is not happening. Just because it took so much effort to get that new personal best. Consistently, I can get about a minute, 2 seconds, and then, you know, anywhere from 100 milliseconds to 500 milliseconds. I can do that pretty consistently for this level. Like I said, I used to hate this level because it would absolutely ruin my any percent. Not my any percent, but my line A RTA runs. But I've come to love this level. You know, I just remembered a story I wanted to tell, and just like that, forgot it. Shame that that happens. .103.26. Not the worst. That's decent. If you submitted that right now, it would get you 4th. No, it would get you 3rd, excuse me. Because there's only 2 submissions. For this level, very interesting person has the 2nd place right now. It's a guy named NTMKN. Another Japanese player. Kind of just appeared really right out of nowhere when... Excuse me while I take a drink here. He really appeared completely out of nowhere. Before the mods finally set rule sets for all the individual levels of the DLC, the Octo expansion, he didn't have a single run on speedrun.com. Just completely absent from the site, but then the moment the speedruns for the individual levels get added, he starts snapping up easy world records, which I don't blame him. I've done the exact same thing. But another thing is, he came out of nowhere, but he's also super good. Like, he set, like I said earlier, 1 minute, 1 second, and 250 milliseconds on this level, and it took me a very large amount of effort to overcome that. He is definitely a very, very skilled player. I'm just very curious as to why he didn't have anything else before then. Because oh, excuse me, I forgot to start the timer. Let's restart, go back to the train. I don't know if he's done any percent runs for the Octo expansion yet, or if he's done any individual levels for the base game, but regardless, he's a very, very skilled speedrunner. But, hey, I still took that world record back. If you do that little jump right where I'm kind of on that upward ascending rail, you can actually launch yourself forward a bit in kind of like using it as a ramp. Oopsie. Alright. That happens sometimes. Yeah, the unfortunate life of a speedrunner is doing tons of runs that end exactly like that. You make one little tiny error and die. So, I guess one thing that's happened to me recently is I got a Wii U. And, it's actually a funny story. My second Wii U. The first one that I owned, I actually sold because I needed some money at the time to pay for some stuff. And I regret selling it. I really do. But I originally had a copy of Splatoon 1 with it. And it was one of the few games that I had for it. I also had, let's see, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, which is a pretty good game. Didn't get that far into it. Monster Hunter Tri Ultimate, which I'm going to be real with you. Probably my least favorite Monster Hunter. A lot of the monsters in that game just have a bit too much health. They really are health sponges in that game. Xenoblade Chronicles X, didn't get that far into that either. Ooh, a 116, stinky. Don't like that, very bad. An eShop game I originally had was Shantae Risky's Revenge, Director's Cut. I love the Shantae series. They're really good games. If you like Metroidvanias, I seriously recommend them. One issue though, the first two games did not age very well. The first game, gets a bit confusing where to go. Second game gets a bit confusing, a little bit with where to go, and also how it handles little warp points. Doesn't handle them too well. But yeah, with the recent round of stimulus money, which I guess will kind of date this a bit, was able to get myself a Wii U again. And, which I like, because it's a Wii U. I can play any Wii U game, and I can play any Wii games, too. And I never owned a Wii or a GameCube growing up. So there's a very large amount of Nintendo stuff that I just completely missed out on as a child. I was more of a PlayStation kid growing up. I had a PS2 when I was a kid, and then I got a PlayStation 3 actually right as it was going out. Right before literally several months before the PS4 launched, I got a PS3. Which sucks in terms of getting new games, but was really good in terms of getting a lot of really cheap stuff. Tons of cheap games that I could get. And I used to own a PS4, but I had to sell that too. And maybe one day I'll get one of those again. But I will admit that I have hacked my Wii U. 102.49. That is not the actual time because, of course, human error from starting it. But that's pretty accurate. I would say, if anything, it was probably still a 102 point something. I wonder if I can get anything close to the 101s. But yeah, I've hacked my Wii U so I can, let's just say, play some games a little bit more easily. It's not that hard, actually. I thought it'd be harder than it really was. But I do have a physical copy of Splatoon 1, so hopefully I can start speedrunning that in the near future, but I haven't really even played any of the single player for the first one recently. I think that's just because I'm more enamored with seeing what the original's multiplayer was like. Because it's cool to see all the stages and weapons and special weapons and sub-weapons that didn't make it to Splatoon 2. It's a little bit of a different game. With regard to speedrunning, it's actually funny. For whatever reason, on Splatoon 1, a physical copy is actually... Ooh, look at that, 101.93. I did exactly what I wanted to do. For Splatoon 1 speedrunning, physical is faster than digital, which really surprises me. You would really think that the physical copy would load a lot slower, but nope. Turns out it loads faster. And in that same vein, the fastest version of the game is actually Japanese. Japanese version of the game has a faster load time, or faster cutscenes, I think, because Japanese is there's fewer characters in the language, so the text takes a bit less time to load. Oopsie. Oh well. But in Splatoon 2, digital loads faster than physical, which isn't really a factor for the DLC, because the DLC was only ever released digitally. And you can see with that corner there how I try to cut that corner and dodge roll to avoid most of it. That's one of the ways that dodge rolling is a bit faster. 109.62, not that great. What's the other level that I've done? I know. The other sort of rail and dodge roll station. So, the Octo expansion. Actually, you know what? I'll hold off on what I was about to say and let me give you an explanation of this. So, just like the first level, you would dodge roll to the gate. This level is based around these obstacles, which you see right there. Those green rollers, they will damage you and knock you off the rail and kill you if you hit them. So there are these little spinners. You shoot them, and they make those rollers spin. So you would launch from the launch pad over there, up to here. You dodge roll into this. And then it's just kind of a matter of spamming dodge. Which, oops, you see, just like that, that's what happens when you hit them. Which, this is actually another level you play in the any percent category. And it's just very much so a matter of trying to get through this as fast as possible. And I do need to admit to you right now, some of the strategies I use might not actually be the fastest. I really am the only person who's set a time for this level yet. So it is, while it is de facto world record, I'm sure even I could probably set a better time than the one I already have. Which my time is not that great at the moment, and I'm gonna try to go back later and beat it. Oops, I instinctively turned the timer on trying to stop it, because I have the same button set for both start and stop the timer. Yeah, the Octo expansion is weird. It's odd that I decided to start with that. Speaking of, let me see my time, my personal best for this time, for this level. So my personal best right now for this level is actually a 1 minute, 13 seconds, 233 milliseconds. I doubt I'm gonna beat that, because I'm not really trying, actively caring. But yeah, it's very interesting that was kind of what I chose instead of the full game, base game, any percent. Because the DLC is way more punishing with its deaths. You die in the DLC, you're gonna have a really bad time. And the DLC is The DLC, rather than making you use special weapons that are separate from the base game, the DLC makes you use weapons that are in multiplayer, which is pretty interesting. But it means you're a bit more at the mercy of the RNG of the shot spread for this game. It's probably one of the most optimized versions, or the most optimized game modes to speedrun. But I like it because, so for the base game, you have to pay close attention to your overworld movement. You have to ink the entrances to each level before you can enter them. And that means that's just an extra place to lose time. You know what I mean? In comparison, as you could see with the menu for when I've been navigating it, for the Octo expansion, it is all menus. Meaning that... Oops. Oh well. Meaning that it is not somewhere you have to worry about, oh, am I gonna lose time from screwing up my movement, moving from level to level, and revealing each level. Nope, it's all menus. So while it has its own extra area of difficulty of, if you die, you lose a lot of time, it just feels easier. Because, oh, who cares? I lost a second moving through the menu too slow. That's better than losing like 10, oh shit, I did it again. Losing like 10 or 20 seconds from moving a little bit wrong in each overworld. But I guess that's just what speedrunning is like, isn't it? One day, I do want to eventually do a video for this channel of, ooh, a 151. That is horrible. I do want to do a video of this channel one day where I'm not speedrunning and just kind of playing the game, the multiplayer. But, you know, it is what it is. What does that even mean? I'm sorry, I'm incoherent. I don't know what I'm saying. I think I'm gonna do maybe just one last run, and then that's gonna be the video. But yeah, I do want to do shit. Tell you what, since I'm trying to do one more run. I'm gonna try to get one that goes down first try. But I do want to do at least one video of me speedrunning, or excuse me, not speedrunning, just playing the game for the multiplayer, the way most people know it. Because I have a lot of good memories associated with this game. It is my favorite one of my favorite multiplayer games. It's the only like non-fighting game, competitive game that I play. I'm not the best at it. I haven't achieved anything close to the highest ranks you can in the ranked mode, but I do like it because it's just so unique. It's a game where instead of being tasked with like killing your opponent or capturing the flag or whatever. It's you shoot the ground. It's just such a unique concept for a game. You know what I mean? And there you go, 114.88. I admittedly pressed stop a bit too late, but whatever. So, yeah, that's the video. Next time I do this, I do want to set the line ARTA, which, as I said earlier, is these 8 levels. Level A01, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which will take a bit more practice. I likely won't set a new personal best on that, but I'll probably do it twice next when I do that. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed watching this. If you'd like to see more of the Sad Lads, subscribe to this channel. If you are interested in seeing some of the more of the stuff that I do with Splatoon speedrunning, I have my own YouTube channel, King Krab Speedruns, which I'll send Brendan a link to that, so you can hopefully be in the descriptions. You can see. Don't expect more videos like this. None of my runs are commentated. They tend to be very short, usually just the length of the speed run. It's got some of my full game runs and a lot of my individual level runs, and you can kind of track my progress with how much I've been able to cut down time through uploading my videos. But yeah, if you want to see just what it looks like when someone is just setting times, doing runs, actually striving to be the best of the best, especially my world record runs, you can check those out. There's my Twitter. Sadly, most of my Twitter is just me talking about my YouTube videos and linking to them. I have a few other things, but I'll link that too down below. And then there's my Speedrun account, speedrun.com account, that has all of my rankings for all of my individual levels for the base game and the DLC and the category extensions and my full game speedrun. So yeah, with that, I think we're going to call that here. Catch you all on the next one.